Before we start the show, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Their support keeps this show free for you. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace and Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions. Hi, I'm Michelle, a mother of 2 teens. 13 years ago, I traded in punishments and rewards for connection. Now I prioritize relationship over behaviors, utilize play as a parenting tool, and set limits with empathy instead of consequences. Each week, I share my journey and interview clients, experts, and followers. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Peace and Parenting podcast. I have a guest today, Taylor, who has a parenting question. We're going to get into it. Taylor, will you introduce yourself?
Happy to. So I am Taylor. I'm calling from upstate New York. I am the mom of 2 wonderful, rambunctious little kiddos, 2 and 4. And something that I am struggling with and surprised to be struggling with is a short temper, yelling, impatience, things that I don't feel like I experience in any other aspect of my life. So it surprises even me when it happens. And I think, one, I'm curious just how to better self-regulate so that it doesn't happen. But then also, especially with my 4-year-old, he's very aware of my emotions and how I'm feeling. He seems very attuned to that, which is a wonderful quality. And I think I want to know how to even talk with him about the fact that mama's working on it. I'm struggling too, and something that I don't want to do and want to do less of. So yeah.
Of course. You're so good. You're such an aware mom. So let's start there, that you have a good awareness of yourself. You have a good awareness of where you are and where you want to be. So that's huge kudos, because many people aren't. Tell me about your own upbringing. Was there a lot of impatience? Was your mom a yeller?
Yes and yes. Yeah, I think that that's something that I think was kind of present in our household was, I knew, I think I learned more to just like suppress if I was suppress a feeling that might like trigger something in my own mom. And like I said, because I'm a very calm, easygoing person in other parts of my life, it's true. Like I never thought that this is something I would be struggling with.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone. I can tell you from my own personal experience, both my parents had no patience and were yellers. And the last thing I wanted, and I was a teacher and I never yelled. I was a coach and I never yelled. I worked with kids and I never really yelled. I was great. But the stakes are so high, first of all, with our own kids. And so our investment is so much deeper that I think we get triggered to a degree that doesn't exist in other areas of our life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one piece. And I think, if you saw this in your household like I did, it can't help but imprint on us.
Mm-hmm.
It can't help but go in there. And it's never come up before because you've never had a parent-child relationship before, except for the one where you were the child.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now it's coming up because you have this new experience. And, I think that because you've seen it and because maybe you did suppress your feelings as a kid, maybe subconsciously that's your expectation in your own house.
Yeah. As we were talking and I mentioned that I kind of suppress things. It's something I haven't made the connection before, but my oldest is really both of them, but he's 4, so he's more aware, is very expressive with what he's feeling as he's feeling. Like he feels it fully. I don't get any kind of watered down version. And like one thing, there's like all these mantras or things that you can find helpful. And I know people have said before, like your kid feels safe to express themselves that way with you. So like that's great, but then also it does like I don't want to respond with that same heightened intensity because it doesn't do anything to help him calm down.
No, but I think maybe subconsciously, and myself included, we expect our kids to calm down because we did. And so we're just operating in this past experience and not fully becoming, you're becoming aware, like slowly over time, right? Because this is a process, but you're not quite there yet. And so I'd say also give yourself some grace. Like it's going to take you a little bit of time here to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're going to mess up.
Yeah.
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 And I think apologizing to your son in those times and saying, like, I'm really sorry. And then right after that, sorry, you can say, Mommy's working hard on this. I'm really trying. And just tell him that so that he knows in those apologies, it will mean something to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll hear that. He really will. I think what helped me most was figuring out like, why am I yelling? What is it in me? Like I would parse out one experience, right? And I'd say like, oh, as I told Esme to do something, she wouldn't do it. And then I had to tell her again and she wouldn't do it. And then I had to tell her a third time and I'm screaming at the kid. And I had to sit back and tell myself, and I did it with journaling. Why am I yelling at the child who I have to ask 3 times? And I think for me, like in those moments, I tried to find the unmet need in myself. And so in those moments, and I had a lot of those where it was an unmet need of like not feeling heard and not feeling understood and not feeling like I could express myself as a kid. And so then when I did as an adult with a child, I thought, she's not listening to me. She doesn't respect me. She's not hearing me. She's not, I'm not being heard by her. When in fact, she's just operating as a kid.
Yeah.
The problem was me and getting that need met. So thinking maybe like, do you remember the last time that you kind of yelled at one of the kids?
I've actually I feel like I've worked really hard on this. I have to reach back a little bit. Probably, I mean, I don't even I was short for sure. I think I was in public, so I probably kept my voice down more than if I was at home. But we were at the community pool over the holiday break and all four of us were crammed into a tiny little family stall trying to get everyone sorted, like get dressed, get outside. We had 9 family members waiting for us who all miraculously, and everyone's kids, everyone just got dressed so quickly. They were ready to go. I'm aware of like people are waiting for us. It's 10 degrees outside, and I think at one point I just said out loud, and my husband's a good regulator in these instances too, but I think we just said, "Oh, we're having a good time," out loud, just like trying to diffuse the situation. But that was the last one where I was very I was really
Revved
short
up.
with him. Yep,
Yeah.
revved up.
Yeah. Revved
Great
up.
way to put it. Yep.
Yeah, we get revved up. And it might not even matter if we say anything to our kids, right? It's just like, I don't want to feel revved up.
Yes, I don't
Yeah.
want to feel revved up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think, and maybe in that moment, and I know I've had many of these too, and I talk to people all the time, it's like public embarrassment is like overwhelming for us with children. We somehow believe like we're going to be the letter A is going to appear on our shirt and we are going to be the adulterer out in front of all the masses when in fact it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But we take those public experiences with our kids where we might be embarrassed. We really have a hard time with them. And I think it really bears us to journal on that too and say like, why do I care so much what other people think? Why am I so worried about being late? Maybe too. That's another one. Or being not taking long enough or not being proficient enough or my kids not being good enough.
Yeah. And I do know, you said this earlier, but I do know that it is me and it's not like you said earlier, like why am I yelling at this kid who isn't listening to me? I'll have moments where it's just like, why am I yelling at this child?
Yeah.
He's a child, like whatever he's doing. It's like he is 4 years old and is just learning how to be a person in the world. And so I think I like your suggestion of, whether it's journaling or meditating on it, of just like what I feel like that's something I don't feel very connected to is like, what is the unmet need? I think that phrasing is really helpful too. What's going on that makes me feel like this is why is that my go to?
Yeah. Or why is this the emergency moment? Why am I creating this emergency moment in the
Yeah.
dressing room or with the kid who won't listen to you? Why in the hell is this an emergency moment? Is it?
Yeah.
And I think for lateness too, so many of us really stress when we're late, like late to kindergarten. Now I'm not talking late to, you have a surgery planned or
Yeah.
something. That's different.
Surgery
But
was the first thing that popped into my head too.
well,
So
that's what everyone
you're like,
thinks. So they're
yeah.
like, but let's talk about all the other times we get amped up about being late. Like late, I used to get mad at myself and my kids for being late for play dates.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You can't be late. Of course you can be late to the play date. Of course you can be late to the lunch appointment. Of course you can be late to basketball practice. It's okay. And I think that's another one where we can really take the pressures off ourselves. We're hitting pause for a moment to thank our sponsors. These brands make sure you can listen to this podcast for free. Are you sick of the sibling fighting? Are you tired of asking your child to do the same thing over and over and over again, only to end up using threats and bribes to try to get them to cooperate? Well, it doesn't have to be like that. You can learn the ideas of connection through our Connected Parent Mastermind group coaching program. We meet 3 days a week. Myself and my 2 coaches hold meetings. We also give you access to all of my online materials, meaning 10 modules of instruction, PDFs, podcasts, and my book. You get to join our school community and interact with coaches and myself and so many parents who are doing this work just alongside you. So if you're feeling stuck or if you want to accelerate your connected parenting practice even further, join the Connected Parent Mastermind. Click the link in the show notes for more information. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace and Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions. Okay, back to the episode. One other piece I think it's important to try to think about is, are you filled up? Are you taking care of yourself? I know everyone likes to say that, but if we aren't, of course, we're not going to be patient. There's no way.
Yeah. Short answer is no, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I usually get enough sleep, but I feel like I'll have at least a handful of nights, like 1 or 2 during the week where I'm only sleeping like 5, maybe 6 hours. And I think that it's like I wake up, I have my coffee, I'm going about my day. I'm not in like an immediate state of feeling tired or run down, but it's impacting me. I know it is.
It is. And then it's
Yeah.
like by the time you've asked your kid to do something 4 times and they've said no and it's 6 p.m., you're done. And of course, you're yelling at your kid because you're on empty.
Yeah.
So just, not like self-care, but just thinking about our routine. Like, am I staying up too late and watching 7 episodes of Landman when I don't really need to be? Am I, what am I doing to take care of myself on the weekend? Am I getting my alone time? Am I telling my partner I need 2 hours on Saturday? I have to have it. I got to get my alone time. It's important to me. And building those things in isn't selfish. It's self-preservation,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to. We just have
Yeah.
to, or we're the moms. And if we go down, the whole ship goes down.
Yeah.
Okay. Other good things that are super easy. And I mean, I don't know if these things you're using, but I always tell myself it's so much better to walk away than to say something I'm going to regret.
Yeah.
And we hear it all the time, but it really is. I notice when I'm starting to feel agitated, I can feel like tightness in my chest and like a shortness of breath almost, and like a palpitation. And I can feel myself getting hot. And when I notice those things, I tell myself I need to walk away. But I have to notice those things. If I don't notice those things, then I could get on the freight train to the like mean words.
Yeah. It's harder to stop midstream
It really
once you're
is.
down that path.
Once
Yeah.
you're going to the station, that's kind of it.
Yeah, that is very helpful. We do all four spend a lot of time together. And so I think like not having like I don't even my husband spends more time solo parenting than I do because I'm trying we're actually new to where we live in New York. We just moved here a few months ago. So life's changing in every conceivable way. Um but will he almost notices it in me before I do. And we kind of have like a hey, do you need a minute? Like feel
Yeah.
free to,
Yeah.
agreement of like I can help pull you out of this. But it is, I mean, I need to pay attention to that too. And something I was thinking about that you said earlier about like even in the moment that you're apologizing, telling your child that you're working on it too. There are times, I mean, I feel like this is also so common. It's like I'm trying to apologize and he's already moved on to the next thing. And he's like, it's okay. And he's not even like looking at me anymore. And I'm trying to really like, oh, please look at my eyes. I really want to tell you that, mom is really sorry. And it's like, it feels like it's sitting with me a lot more. But I also know how I grew up. And my mom may think that like, she wasn't experiencing that because of how I was responding. And I don't like, I want to really make sure I think that the point I'm trying to make is I like really want him to hear what I'm saying. And I think even if he's just hearing the words, if he's already focused on the next thing, just saying, I'm working on it, I want him to hear that part of it too.
Yeah. And I think you can be really brief with it. And I know that for me, I don't know about you, but I always used to apologize and I was looking for forgiveness.
Yeah.
I wanted them to say it's okay. And I've totally changed my tune now where I'm like, you know what? You don't have to tell me it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for forgiveness. And you don't have to grant me forgiveness. Just here, I'm saying it like just untethered, like without strings. Like, I'm so sorry. And I try to say it very matter of factly instead of like, I think I used to say it in like a needy, like, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I didn't mean to. I yelled again. Like, and it's like, Esme was like, all right, lady, like chill. Like, what are you so upset about? And it's almost like I made the apology about me too.
Yeah.
And so I really like to learn. I have a podcast that's called The New Apology. I don't know where the heck it is, but it's in there somewhere. I have a little tool I can give you to look for it. But now my new apology is like, you know what? This was my fault. And I say it very matter of factly and almost strong. This was my fault. I'm taking full responsibility and I'm so sorry. And that's it. And I just say it once and I don't, I don't I don't need a response really.
Yeah. That is really helpful. That's a very helpful approach. Yeah. I think just even here, like I definitely don't remember ever saying I'm sorry about anything
Oh,
ever. And grown ups generally, it just
yeah.
was not part of
No.
my childhood. And I feel like that it is like it feels pretty, I've heard his teacher apologize. Like I feel like they hear that and that is culturally very helpful. It feels like a step in the right direction.
Yeah, because now they don't have, because when you're not apologized to and weird things go on and the person is doing something
Yes.
wrong, you somehow are like, wait, am I crazy? Or
Yeah.
is it my fault because you're not taking responsibility? So at least our kids, even if we apologize, you know, correctly or not correctly or whatever it is we do,
Right.
like we're taking fault,
Yeah.
which is that's the most important thing. Other tiny things that you probably heard before, but are always good to reiterate is like finding a mantra that you can say to yourself when you're starting to get revved up. I like to say, Dr. Laura Markham says, this is not an emergency. This is only feelings. This is only a hard situation. This is only
I love
whatever.
Dr. Laura.
Yeah, she's the best. And her
Yeah.
voice is just
I
so
know.
yummy. I want to eat it up. I just want to curl up with her and say, just talk to me, Dr.
Ah,
Laura.
I agree.
Um,
Yeah.
but she says it's not an emergency. That's kind of my favorite one, and, thinking about brain science too in those moments, like your prefrontal is offline, your reasoning center, your judgment center, your higher order thinking, your decision making center. When you get to those places, you're offline. So nothing good comes when we're offline. So trying to really ground yourself and getting back online, that's why the mantra is so good. Because if you can ground yourself in that moment and get your prefrontal back online, you'll make a better decision.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. And the deep breathing, the 4-4, the box breathing, 4-4-4-4 breathing, breathe in, 4, hold 4, breathe out 4, hold 4. That will slow down your central nervous system. If you can get that in even just one time, it can save you.
Yeah. That's funny that you bring that up. We've definitely done that with our child. I don't know that I've done it.
Well, that's
but I've done it with, like, worked with him to do it. But it's good to remember that, like, we need that too.
Well, that's it too. I think we spend so much trying to get our kids to calm down or self-regulate, or, try to get them to come off of their feelings or come down from their feelings. And really, the best teacher of that ideology is modeling that calmness yourself. So they co-regulate. Once we regulate, they glean from our regulation, and they can, over time, will learn to be calm and patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my hope.
Taylor, thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
No,
Thank
that was so
you.
lovely. It
This
was
was
so
great.
lovely. I really appreciate it. I love your questions. And it sounds like you're on your, path with these beautiful kids. You're going to do great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your resources. I'm grateful to live in a time when there are Michelles and Dr. Laura's out there, because it's like we all need it takes a village,
Yeah, it really does. Well, thank you for saying that. I so appreciate it. And thank you, everybody who came and listened to our little chat on the Peace of Parenting podcast. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, Taylor.
Thank you.